So let's move north of the border now, back home, to what's going on here. And what's going on here is also kind of a mess, to be quite honest. So, as you guys know, Parliament is prorogued, meaning that it's on break or just suspended until the end of March. And in the meantime, the Liberals are having a leadership race because Trudeau's resigned, but he's not really resigned. He's still there until March 9th, until the Liberal Party could select a replacement. Is probably going to be Mark Carney, and we'll talk about him later on in this show as well. But yeah, if it's going to be Carney, he's going to come in, and then we don't know what he's going to do, and he's going to be automatically prime minister without winning a general election just because he will become the leader of the Liberal Party. So, there's a little bit of pushback on that as well, because many Canadians, like probably everyone in this room and a lot of other people in my life, family, friends, are probably not going to be too happy about having just kind of an unelected prime minister being in charge, even for like a few weeks. But it is what it is. So we'll have to see what that happens, right? What happens going forward. But before that all happens, we got to talk about what the Liberal Party is kind of doing, because they're kind of rudderless at the moment, and they're just dedicating all their energy to pushing back and attacking Pierre Poilievre, who is still, despite a recent surge in the polls for the Liberals, Pierre Poilievre of the Conservatives is still leading in overall aggregate polls. And I just saw this post from the Liberal Party recently that I wanted to kind of maybe talk about with you guys on how I think that the Liberal Party is just completely lost. Of course, this is a biased position, but I just think that the Liberal Party is completely lost, and they've lost the plot. And it would be a shame if they like somehow squeak by another 4 years after an election, because I just think that they're going to take the country in the wrong direction just based upon the shit that they post on X, right? So let me share an example of what they're posting. So this post is about a Pierre speech. Pierre Poilievre made a speech that said Canada first, right? So he mentioned the words Canada first, and then this is kind of like the new slogan, actually, of the Conservative Party, Canada first. And the Liberal Party is kind of slamming him on this. So this post says perhaps Pierre Poilievre should rethink his latest slogan. And they posted this kind of opinion paragraph from probably some super alt-left leaning reporter that says, one Proud Boys chapter. Proud Boys is an alt-right nationalist group based in Hamilton, is now using the name Canada First and shares blatantly pro-Nazi material on Telegram, according to Peter Smith, a reporter and researcher with the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. So they're trying to imply that Pierre is, alt-right, ultra-nationalist for saying Canada first. And if you just dig a little deeper into this story, you'll find that there is actually another prime minister, a former prime minister, that used the phrase Canada first. So this phrase was used by Wilfrid Laurier. And guess what party Wilfrid Laurier is from? He's from the Liberal Party. He's perhaps the most famous prime minister the Liberals have ever had. And he's on our money, right? So he's on the 5 right now. So Wilfrid Laurier made a speech where he referenced this. So he said, during one sentence of this speech, he concluded his speech by saying, and let your motto be Canada first, Canada last, Canada always. So this is what Pierre is channeling. And it's just completely bizarre and sad to me that the Liberal Party, whoever runs the Liberal Party X account, does not know their own history enough to know that this was a speech that was from their most famous prime minister from their own one of the most famous prime ministers in Canadian history in general, and probably the most famous prime minister from their own party. So that's all I had to say on this. So there is a second part to this story, more about Canadian politics, but I'm going to take a break here and just get what you guys' thoughts on kind of this post by the Liberal Party. Do you agree with me that they're totally off base and they're totally lost? Or do you have a different opinion? What's your opinion on the Liberal Party in general? Do you think that, they're kind of leaderless and rudderless? Or do you think that, Mark Carney is going to come in and save the party or whatever? So just not really a specific direction, but you guys can take it any kind of direction you like with this segment of the story.
Maybe it's just like a matter of vote grabbing, I suppose. They're trying to like nitpick on anything they possibly can, wherever they can and however they can. This all in all is probably taken a little out of proportion, and I felt like the person responsible for kind of making this article, like on the liberal end of things, probably should have done a little more research, considering Wilfrid Laurier is, as you said, one of the most premier and famous prime ministers in all of Canadian history in the Liberal Party. So with that being said, maybe they probably should have, dug into the history books at the local library, or like did a little Google search and just try to see things through before,
Dug into their own history books.
Yeah, right.
The ironic part. That is their own Liberal Party history. And it's like one of the most important chapters in the Liberal Party's history, which was Wilfrid Laurier's tenure as prime minister.
I bet like the Liberal office probably has like handbooks. I bet there's no way they went of like Wilfrid Laurier and like quotes, history, etc. So like you wouldn't think to pick up a book or anything like that at some point. I guess it's a bit ridiculous. They probably should have done their more due diligence a lot better, but it is what it is. And I think this is just completely taken out of court. It's like on the caveat, like not to be super biased, it's like how Pierre kind of nitpicks the carbon tax. He takes it way out of proportion too. It's just political ploy. It is what it is. So, although I'm not a huge fan of carbon, but I'll leave it at that. Never mind.
I think that the liberals are being kind of cringe, because everyone, if you look back in history, everyone has said everything at some point. I'm sure you could find an instance of basically everyone you dislike saying something that could be then turned into a slogan that someone else is now claiming. People aren't that original. I'm like, so really, you're just going to go, it's clear sign of the Proud Boys support from Pierre. It's like, come on. The odds that Pierre is like rolling out of bed being like, gotta check on what the Proud Boys are saying today is basically nothing. Like, come on. It's just like he's not doing that. Like, and to act like he is just extremely, extremely cringe. Like, can we not just have an agreement that, our politicians, or the people who are going to elect as potential prime minister and stuff, we give them the benefit of the doubt that they aren't just like, grabbing slogans from the local garbage disposal of people. Like, come on, it's just ridiculous to act like this is somewhere Pierre is getting from, and also to act like Pierre should change his slogan just because a bunch of cringe people have decided that that's their slogan too. Like, okay, how do I stop Pierre from saying anything? I just, become really cringe and I say it myself, haha, now he can't say anything. It's just extremely, it's ridiculous. I don't think that, I don't think that really gives them much. I think this is just another example of the liberals tending to really hammer in on something that doesn't matter, no one cares about, and is not going to result in any difference in an election. Like, I don't think that this Proud Boys saying Canada first and Pierre saying Canada first is going to result in a single person choosing not to vote for Pierre. Not even one. Like, come on. So it's just acting like it will is just ridiculous.